QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.
What's going on, guys? How's things going on with the people? You know what I'm saying? This is Dave, one half of PNP. Listen, I just want to let you guys know for the next 2 weeks, you're gonna get a pair of solo shows. I'm going solo this week. Shy got to do daddy duties, and next week Shad is going solo because I'm going to be in Vegas. Like I'm already going to be there. I'm not going to be like time zone Delta. It'll be 5 o'clock that time. I'm going to be somewhere in some casino, hopefully not losing my money. So I'm going solo today. Shy going solo next week. And we'll be back together the week after that. All right. Just for the sake of clarity. All right. So we'll get with the basics. You know, weekend was cool. I'm in the final stretch for Evo. Evo's this weekend. I'm flying out to Vegas on Thursday for it. I'm looking forward to it. This is my first Evo ever. We can always have a discussion. Maybe I should have went 20 years ago when I actually had more time on my hands than I do now. But you know, it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it. The goal is to not go 0-2 in every tournament. That's the goal. Now I don't know if I'm gonna accomplish that goal. I didn't go 0-2 in all the tournaments in Combo Break when I went in May, but that's the goal. But I know for a fact I'm definitely going to. Like they give out stickers when you go 0-2 in the tournament. So you get a sticker when you go 0-2. 25% of the players who go to Evo go 0-2. Like that's just a statistic, you know, and most of them will be done in 15 minutes. So, you know, could you imagine if you flew all the way from Japan and you're out in 15 minutes? Do you know how demoralizing that is? Like if you come from all the way from Japan and you could potentially be out in 15 minutes. But we'll see what happens with that. Overall, pretty chill weekend. Like I said, prepping for Evo. Got my Tekken 8 in over the weekend. Got Street Fighter in over the weekend. I'm entering a lot of tournaments, so you know I'm going to enjoy it. It's about having fun. We'll get into some of the Panthers rumors. Well, one of the Panthers rumors. There really ain't. I'll be honest, man. We're pretty much close to the eve of training camp. We're only a couple of days away from training camp. So you know, I mean, all these are just rumors at this point, but we'll definitely discuss it. I hope you guys had an outstanding week. I hope you're enjoying your week so far. I have one more work day. Tomorrow's my last work day of the week. So I'm looking forward to just getting ready, prepping. I've already packed my bags for Vegas. I'm gonna be out there for 10 days. So it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a blast. Like I got Evo the first weekend, then I'm gonna chill with my fraternity brothers the next weekend for our reunion. So it's gonna be fun. So, but I made a decision not to fly back home. I'm just gonna stay there. So I've already found me a nice little cheap hotel. Well, you know, a reasonable price hotel. Because the thing about Vegas, man, the weekends are not a game anymore. During the week, it's not hard to get a hotel, but the weekends they out here charging $250, $300 a night. So you know, it all depends on where you trying to stay, so to speak. But you know, but we'll see how it goes. Primarily is going to be a Q&A for me. There aren't really too many topics to talk about from a Panther standpoint. I just don't have you know, we can talk about the Brandon Ayuk stuff, but I'm gonna be clear, guys. We'll go ahead and start with this discussion point. I'm gonna be clear when I say this. I'm trying to understand why we need him. And the reason why I'm saying that is due to the fact that we've already traded for our guy. So I'm questioning why we need him. And I know you guys are going to say, well, he's talented, he's good, he's got upside. I get all that. But sometimes you got to look at what the plan is. And I question why we need him. We traded for Deontay Johnson. We drafted Xavier Legette. We still have Adam Thielen. We got to figure out what's going to happen with Jonathan Mingo. Some of you guys are still Terrace Marshall believers. So I legitimately question why we need to give up draft capital for this man. And the thing is, I just don't know why we always do this to ourselves as a fan base. We have this habit of, and we're all guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? We're fans, right? We're fanatics. That's what fan is short for, fanatic, right? So I always wonder why we do this each time there's a player that says they want to be traded. We did it with T. Higgins. We're doing it with Brandon Ayuk right now. We need to understand that like the team has a plan and they're rolling with their plan. And I think right now the plan is not to trade for Brandon Ayuk because we don't need to be giving up any more draft capital to do this. San Fran is going to probably ask for some decent draft capital to get him. And the other part of the ordeal is you got to pay him. He ain't asking for a trade just to go to another team. I mean, the 49ers are just in the Super Bowl. So I don't understand why we would be willing to give our draft capital to get this guy. And I'm looking at all the comments, and I plan on going through all the comments. So we will dig in it if it's something that we can have a discussion for. But if there's any position that we need to trade for, wide receiver ain't it. I can name a few that's ahead of wide receiver. I think we've exceeded the wide receiver cap from that standpoint, in my opinion. I think we have a lot of guys here. I think they're going to compete, and we're going to see who wins during training camp. But like we need to be going after cornerbacks, not wide receivers. Cornerbacks. We need a cornerback. All right. And so we're gonna get into it. We'll discuss it more, but like I just don't understand why we need him. It doesn't make sense based on what we've already done so far. I understand the aspect of getting more weapons for Bryce Young, but I don't understand why we need him at this point. And I know somebody asked the question, well, how long Thielen's going to be on the team? Dog, we drafted wide receivers 2 straight years. I mean, like we're kind of, and I'm pretty sure if they think Thielen's going to walk, we'll probably draft another one this upcoming year. I say all that to say we got to kind of let our guys develop. So I just don't think we're gonna get into this whole hoopla about it. I don't think we should get in this hoopla about it. Like we really need to temper down our expectations when it comes. I know I saw somebody saw the odds makers like plus 500 odds, which is the third highest odds of getting him. But I think that's insane. I'll be shocked if we get him. I think somebody else is going to get him. All right, let me grab a couple of these questions real fast. Am I playing college football? Absolutely not. I'm still on strike. I've been on EA Sports strike for a very long period of time. So no college football for me. And I stopped playing college football when they took out the HBCUs. So I stand on that. And I would have been willing to break my strike if they would have had HBCUs. But it looks like there's a lot of folks that are getting ready to create them later this week. But a lot of these HBCUs don't have their roster set yet, or let have the rosters out for everybody to know who's on what team. So I don't know. Like I'm not paying for it. If you guys want to send the game to me, I'll play it, but I'm not spending my cash on it. So that's a no for me, dog. Hope all is well with you, Marcus, and happy belated birthday again, boss. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I stand by what I say. Thielen still played pretty well last year for us. Hopefully, we won't have to give him over 100 targets like we did last season, but I think we're going to be fine. Gilmore is who I want, and we don't have to trade to go get him, but we got to go pay him. But we got to get a corner. Yeah, 30 plus. Price. Look, man, yesterday's price is not today's price, and he's going to get it too. AU's going to get his money. Let's not get it twisted. There's talks about having a separate salary cap for quarterbacks. So even if that doesn't happen, he's going to get his money. Like I don't think that's going to be an issue one bit. He is absolutely going to get his money, his cream, his cash. Oh man, he's going to get his money. You ain't got to worry about that. All right, let's see here. That's where I'm at. If we're going to trade, we need to trade for corner. Edge, yeah. It's going to cost a lot to get somebody good. It's going to cost a lot. Man, Dave, seeing all playing the reason why we have no ring. Dog, when we went aggressive, we had one of the worst records in the league. So, I mean, it works both ways. It's not about playing safe, it's about developing. Like the Chiefs developed their talent. They developed their talent. Like everybody ain't gonna be the Rams. And you see it's crashing. The Rams got their ring, but it's crashing and burning. But the Bengals, they developed their talent. Like you want to stay good consistently. We've never had consecutive winning seasons. Like folks got to remember the difference of when the Panthers got into the league versus the Jags. The Panthers decided to go with vets, and they brought in a lot of veterans when they first got into the NFL as an expansion team, and they got to the NFC Championship game pretty quickly. Like second year they were there, right? Whereas the Jaguars built the team young. Like they drafted well, they developed. And so they had consistent success. They were in the championship. People forget, they were in the championship game too in 96 with us. They lost just like we lost, right? But the difference was they had sustained success during that period of time. They had multiple winning seasons during that period of time, whereas we crashed and burned. So I think there's a delicate balance about how you build these rosters. Everything is different. It's about having a really good organization and having a really good coaching staff to make it all work. I mean, a lot of times the most talented team in the NFL don't win these championships either. Like, we never really have these discussions, but a lot of times the most talented squad don't win the championships. All right. I mean, every top team has 3 wide receivers, but is that how we want to operate our offense? And when you look at our wide receivers, I mean, what do you already like? What do you expect from Leggett? What like we have so for a team that wants to run the ball first, how many wide receivers do we really need? Like, what's the expectation for your third wide receiver on the roster that wants to run more than 50% of the time? You know? I mean, it's a strong argument. I just think the concern is that you're probably going to have to pay a lot more to get that edge rusher if it's going to be good. You are correct. They took out HBCUs back in 08 in college football, and I have not played it since then. Like, I stopped right there. That was it. That was the line. Like, 07 was the last time I played. My thing is this, bro. It shouldn't be that. They should have the FCS in it. And I think it's insane that they don't. And I think it's lazy that they don't. And that's just how I feel about it, right? So I think it's wild that you haven't had a college football game in over a decade and you made the decision to not put them all in. I know somebody's going to make all the HBCU rosters. That's great. I know that what EA is probably going to end up doing, they're going to probably charge extra money. You know, they're good for microtransactions, so they'll probably build them at some point and charge everybody. But I think it's kind of wild to not have it. I mean, you got a pretty strong fan base. When you think about like not just the HBCUs either, by the way. Like when you think about like the North Dakota states, the South Dakota states, the Montanas, Delaware's about to be FBS, but like you know all these other programs that have flourishing fan bases. I think it's kind of wild to exclude them. I just do. Like I understand, you know, the popular but I'm not a big FBS guy like that. So that's just I'm probably in the minority, and that's fine by me. I mean, but I haven't played one since, and I tend to when I make a call about certain things, I tend to stand on it. So and I'm going to remain standing on it. If the HBCUs is there, then I'll consider it. But I want EA to do it. It shouldn't come like I'm annoyed that it comes down to us to do it. So yeah. Yeah, this is it for me, bro. I ain't interested in this. Like, this ain't what I want. I did read about this. Interesting. I mean, Rivera's not there no more, so it's kind of fascinating. But you know, good luck to Fitterer, man. You know what happens in the NFL is that they just rotate the same people around over and over again. I mean, when we fired Gettleman, he ended up in New York. So I mean, that's what they do. They end up rotating folks. They end up rotating folks over and over again. All right, let's see. Yeah, but baseball's different, bro. Because see, baseball ain't got no cap. You can spend however you want. I mean, the Red Sox won the World Series, spending a lot of money too. The Celtics just won one. They probably got to play electric tag. You saw that they're about the Celtics are about to they just signed Jason Tatum to that big deal. They signed Jaylen Brown a year prior. You see that they're selling the team. And you know what I want to see, but I don't think it's going to happen. I want the Saudis to buy him. I'm keeping it a buck with you. I want the Saudis to buy him. I want the Saudis to buy the Celtics, and I think they will drop the money to do it. I just want to see it. I'm just interested in the dynamic of that. But yeah, like, you know, you can spend money and still not win no championships. Okay, you think they're gonna win the Super Bowl? Do you think the Eagles gonna win the Super Bowl? I don't. They're gonna struggle to win the division. I got them winning the division right now, but I don't think they're gonna win the Super Bowl. Do you? You think they're gonna win the championship with that roster? This ain't the first time that Philadelphia has made this dream team either, by the way. The last time they did that, they missed the playoffs. Remember that? They had Vic, Vince Young, and all these other cats. Remember that? They didn't even make the playoffs that year. Dream team. Football's hard, bro. I mean, I don't. The Eagles ain't making the NFC Championship game. They're not. The 49ers probably get there, though. You see how we'll see what quarterback they got. Okay. So, all right. I hate to ask this, but if the Panthers have never to season fire, no, they're not going to fire everybody. Do you think most fans might just give on the Panthers? And the Panthers ain't going to ever lose their fan base, man. I think you got to remember, right? A lot of NFL teams is based on the region that they're in. So the Panthers have the benefit of covering both Carolinas and Southern Virginia. Like, I think folks sleep on how big of a fan base Southern Virginia is to the Carolina Panthers. I learned that when I was in Lynchburg a few years back. So I don't see a situation where they'll lose their fan base. I mean, if they ain't lost it at this point, I mean, we ain't had a winning season since 2017. I think, you know, you're going to have the pride in your team based on the area that you're from, but it has been tough. I mean, PNP started the same in 2017. And we've only seen one winning season. That was the first year. So I think it's tough. I don't think they're going to lose the entire fan base, though. Like, I think there's a lot of loyal fans. They have a lot of PSL owners. I think how they handle the stadium renovations and how they handle the PSL owners is going to be very fascinating. Just to continue this topic, it's going to be very fascinating to see how that goes. Because if they're continuing to lose, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow for PSL owners who've been PSL owners for 25 years, 20 years, to have to go repay for their seat. So it's going to be very interesting about how that's going to be handled if this team continues to not improve and continues to lose. So that's going to be a storyline that I'm going to be looking at as well. Because I know, like, and Rashad has discussed it. Rashad's legit is concerned about how they're going to handle, if they're getting rid of seats or adding more seats, how they're going to handle the PSL owners from that regard. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that's going to work when they get to that point of renovations. All right. That's right, bro. They got to give me a reason to buy it. I mean, I've been off the sports game tip for a while now. Like, I mean, I haven't bought a Madden in forever too. Like, I just, or like, you know, I mean, I got 2K one time because it came with the system, the console at the time when I bought it, one of my consoles at the time when I bought one. But like, I'm not like going openly trying to buy a sports game. That ain't me. And you know, it's amazing because like I've been on Twitter and I'm watching all the dialogue and all the posts about college football 2025. And the first thing I ask myself is, I'm trying to figure out how folks are going to find the time for this. And I'm also fascinated by the attention span and how long this is going to last, right? And the reason why I say that is because our attention spans nowadays are much shorter than what it was over a decade ago. So, like a college football game, you talking 30 minutes to an hour to get through one per game. A lot of time. That's a long time. Like I would stream fighting games, but if I'm playing for 2 hours, look at how many matches that I get in a 2 hour period. Like I'm probably getting 30, 40 matches in. Like, you get that gratification, win or lose each round. Whereas football is like football gaming is it's a lot. Takes up a lot of time. And I don't I'm past that. And kudos to folks who have the time to do it. I like to get through just one game would be very tough for me nowadays. I'll keep it a buck with y'all. Dog, I'm in software development. EA, dog, it ain't that hard. Stop the madness. They had enough time to put LSU to have LSU playing next. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have had a problem finding HBCUs to do it. I'm not buying it, bro. It ain't that hard. I know enough folks in the industry. It ain't that hard. you know. But I think, and I will say this about it. I think EA will never do it, not because folks don't play it, but because folks won't take a stand about it. Folks were okay with it when they did it over a decade ago and nobody made up a stink about it then. I was probably one of the only ones that did, right? So for me, it doesn't. So for me, it's like, all right, I'm not going to play it. Some people are like, well, you weren't going to buy it anyway. Well, no, I used to buy NCAA football every year. I used to buy Madden every year. And things happen to make me make the decision that I don't need to do it anymore. And so I don't. So I'm not going to spend my money on it. Like I said, if somebody wants to give it, donate it, cool. But I'm not going to spend my money on it. Simple as that. That's just my opinion on it. And I mean, and it's to each their own. I'm not judging folks who decide to play it because they asked me, because I do HBCU sports now. They asked me to do a Dynasty League, and I told them, can't do it. Won't do it because I'm not paying for it. I was like, if y'all donate it, I'll consider it. But at the same time, I honestly don't really want to spend my time on it. I rather play something else. So. All right, I got a confession for y'all, man. I ain't a big Dragon Ball Z guy. Never have been. I'm assuming it's a fighting game. I know Dragon Ball Z Fighters is pretty popular, but that ain't my swim lane. Never has been. Let's see. Thoughts on Deontay Johnson in fantasy? I think he's gonna have the most targets on the team. I think that I wouldn't have him higher than a flex, but I also think that you'll probably be able to get him later. But I just don't. I think, like, we're talking about Bryce Young projections. I mean, he'll throw from probably 3,500 yards, maybe. So you're talking 200 yards a game. So when you start sitting down and doing the math, it's hard for me to put him higher than a wide receiver 3 flex. From that standpoint, might be closer to the bench than anything else, because if you're going to have a quarterback that's only going to throw a little over 200 yards per game, and that's being nice, that's being aggressive, by the way. If you have a quarterback that's only going to throw that, like, think about where those targets are going to and who's going to get the most targets. It'll probably be Deontay Johnson. But then you ask yourself, all right, what about the running backs? What about Thielen? What about Leggett? Like, there ain't going to be enough targets for everybody. Because, like, I don't think Canals is going to be having Bryce Young throw the ball 40 times a game. I think he probably wants to try to keep him in the 20 to 25 range. That's just my opinion. So if that's the case, your targets are kind of, you're talking maybe 6 to 8 targets for Deontay Johnson, which that's flex. Not mad at that. If we're talking about the Eagles being the third best team on paper, the 49ers are better. Um, you could argue Dallas. I don't think so, but you can argue it. I prefer Detroit. Um, I prefer LA. Nah, I mean, 3 is reasonable. Um, I don't think they're better. I think they're better than all the NFC South teams. Vikings outside a quarterback is fascinating. I mean, because they got the best wide receiver in the league. But it'll get interesting from that angle. Eagles ain't going to the Super Bowl, guys. I don't know why you guys keep thinking that. Who is my championship game prediction? I mean, why wouldn't the Chiefs go back to the Super Bowl? Why wouldn't the Chiefs win it again? Barring injury, obviously. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we see Chiefs 49ers again. Wouldn't be shocked one bit. Wouldn't be shocked. Wouldn't be shocked at the same result, too. So, I mean, the 49ers are so confident that they're willing to trade their wide receiver to another team. So I think it's going to be hard for me to dethrone. It's hard to dethrone Patrick Mahomes if he stays healthy. I think the Chiefs will probably get there. And I think the Packers is a fascinating treat to watch. But I'm rooting for Detroit. Like I think Detroit is closer than folks realize. But I don't. It's tough, man. It's early. I mean, the NFL is so unpredictable. But I just think it's going to be very difficult for me to pick against the Kansas City Chiefs right now. We're gonna do like we always do before the season starts. We're gonna go through the entire NFL. We're gonna do our predictions. Folks won't give me credit, but I was high on Detroit. I even picked Detroit to pick the Chiefs that week for the opener. I was high on Detroit, man. So and they didn't. And look, they were one game from the Super Bowl, so they did the deed. So they did what they were supposed to do. Let's see. Dave, should I go running back this year in fantasy? Because from my class, I'm seeing the good running backs in salaries are really slim. I would argue that you could probably say the same thing for wide receivers getting slim pretty quickly too. I mean, I will say though, the running back position, the 20 carry running back is diluting. Like it's been dissolving for a while now, but we're pretty much almost at the point of it. So I think it becomes a chore to decide if it makes more sense to take a running back with 20 carries. Well, to take a running back with 10 that you're going to get at least 10 to 15 touches versus taking a wide receiver that might get 10 targets. It becomes an interesting conundrum to deal with it. I think it's going to ultimately depend on your format and things of that sort. Because then on top of the fact that even if you get a guy like a Bijan Robinson, for the prime example, Bijan is probably going to get you 20 touches, but there's no guarantee he's going to get the goal line carries. And so you're going to have to bank on him getting the 20 touches. You know what I'm saying? So like there's a lot of things involved when you make that decision. So it depends. I mean, Bijan's going to be high on the list, obviously, but I mean, I probably prefer somebody like a CMC or somebody else from that resolve. All right. Do you really? No. We're not winning the division, guys. I mean, there's a lot of things that got to happen for us to win the division. And I'm not wishing injuries on nobody, but that's what is ultimately going to have to take. You're going to have to, and it's going to require like major positions in all the teams to have injury problems and we stay healthy. And even then, it's still going to be an uphill battle. But the NFL is a war of attrition. I don't think the Panthers are going to be walking into the season thinking they can't win the division. I just think I think that's a tough sell. I think we need another year before we do that. So yeah. All right. Before I continue with the questions. I want to quickly talk about Underdog Fantasy. So as you can see under here, that you can use the code PNP and go to underdogfantasy.com. It really helps out the channel. They do best ball, they do higher lowers. You got the Olympics coming up. They just had a big MMA fight, things of that sort. They do all the sports across the board. WNBA, you can do higher lowers for that. They're still doing a deposit match. So just go to underdogfantasy.com and use the promo code PNP when you do. Now, let's see. Do I play? No, I don't. I do not play Call of Duty. Me and first person shooters are not they're not kind to me anymore. I played long ago, and like nowadays, I think I got first person shooter out because I think that's like it got to the point where like the consoles, that was their main focus. Like I played them all. I played Resistance, I played Call of Duty, I played all them joints, and I got first person shooter out. So now, bro, Grand Theft Auto 6, yeah, I'm definitely gonna take a day or two off for that one. I gotta run through it. I'm just afraid that it's gonna be so huge that I'm gonna have to take multiple days off. Because I mean, when Grand Theft Auto comes out, I do run through it, and then that'll be that. I don't know if the Hornets being undefeated in the summer league is gonna help your cause as a Charlotte Hornets fan, but I'm praying for y'all. You know. But nah, man, you got to remember, I was raised in Carolinas when the Hornets were competitive, man. We had Larry Johnson, Lonzo Mourning, then it went to Glenn Rice, Jamal Mashburn. We had some squads back then. We never made the finals, but they were competitive. And we were happy for that at the time. They were consistently good. But now they're like consistently terrible. Yeah, let's see. This is true. All they would have done, and truth be told, all they would have done is just do a palette change with the colors. And then you grab some jams from the blue and gold marching machine to make sure you get that point. Cause I think that was one thing I noticed when I was looking at all the previews for college football 25. They really was trying to knock out the pageantry of it all, right? So they'll make sure that the bands are knocking. Like, I think that would be the key. Like, I think they'll probably spend more time on that than trying to get the rosters right. The band's got to knock. So, you know. When was I at Aggieland? 2000 to 2004. Let's see. I'm looking at the questions. 3,200 to 3,600 for Bryce Young. It's amazing to me that we've only had two 4,000-yard passers in the history of our franchise, and even with the additional game, we still haven't broken 4,000 yards yet. I just find that incredible. So, I just find those type of things incredible, bruh. Like, I was debating on like who would. I was talking to some folks in the HBCU night. I got an HBCU nightly chat for my HBCU sports stuff, and we were talking about NFL predictions. And the first thing I said that was clear to me was the NFC South is only going to get one playoff spot. But I also said that the NFC East might only get one playoff spot too. Because I think the West could definitely take two, and the North could take three. So it's gonna, like, remember, it's 7 teams. I could see the North take three. So it's gonna be interesting, man. The Packers are scared, right? All right, let me see. I mean, isn't the Madden curse over now? Didn't Fitzgerald in that? I thought the Madden curse was over. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, define competitive. Do I think the Panthers will be competitive in the division? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like, do I? Do I think we could win three division games? Sure. Um, is that considered competitive? Mm, I mean, some folks are going to pick us last. I don't think we're going to be last. So it all depends on what you define as competitive. In my humble opinion. But we could be competitive. We'll see. I'm hoping we do one. I'm hoping we do one. I mean, after Evo, my schedule's gonna be a little bit more open. Like I'm doing a tournament local. I'm doing a local gig in October, but and then I gotta start ramping up with HBCU coverage too. But I'm gonna have more bandwidth. To try to, I would like to do an NFC South roundtable. It's gonna be torture because our team is. I don't know what we're gonna look at it. So we'll see. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm curious to see. I mean, Josh Allen, I mean, he did okay. He was an MVP running. Nah, we're not gonna be the worst team in the NFL. I'm confident enough to say that we won't be the worst team in the NFL. Now, a lot of folks think we're going to be the worst team in the NFL, but I'm not. I don't think we're going to be the worst team in the NFL. Um, I think the better question is going to be if we do end up being the worst team in the NFL, will Tepper have the patience to sit through this? I will continue to question if Tepper has the patience. That's going to be the ultimate key to all of this is whether or not Tepper will have the patience or not for a horrific season. Like if we're the worst in the NFL, that's considered a like terrible, right? I think if we're the worst in the NFL, the Bryce Young questions will be louder than it already is. And I think we really need to temper down. And I'm not ready to have the discussion points when it comes to that. But I don't think we're going to be the worst team in the NFL. I'm not ready to concede to that. Do we have holes? Absolutely, we have holes. But I don't think we're going to be the worst team in the league. I mean, there's always like the NFL is there's a lot of parity in the league. So I think we're not are we gonna win a division? No. Remember there was a time where the last place team ended up winning the division the following year in the NFC South? That era is obviously over. But I remember when that was a thing. Um so I don't envision us being the worst team in the league. Um I'm hoping we're out of the top 10, to be honest with you, from a draft standpoint, but I'm not ready to even say that yet. But we'll see. I mean, 6, 7 wins. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I just don't want to go through like 2 wins, 1 win, 3 win. That would be brutal. Like I think I've exhausted my pain from that standpoint. It's been a lot of pain. So yeah, we're projected. Um, we're projected. Yeah, that worked out so well for him now, didn't it? And now he's going to the team. Yeah, 6 or 7 is realistic, Josh. Like I don't I think we can get 6 or 7 wins. Like I'm not too concerned about it. From that standpoint. I mean, I would like to make the playoffs at some point. We're going out to Germany, so I'm hoping we get the win against the Giants while we're out there. That'll be nice. I would be stunned if the Bucks or the Falcons don't win that division. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I would be very shocked if the Bucks or the Falcons don't win that division. If the Saints or us win that division, that is insanity. Um, there's a lot of Saints fans that want the current coach gone. So yeah. I mean, we would have picked in the top 10 if we didn't trade the pick. But I digress. Yeah, I believe so. I haven't checked the over in a minute. You know. Yeah, like I think if Kirk Cousins is healthy, it's gonna be hard for me not to pick the Falcons. Now, I mean, there's some concerns defensively on the Falcons side, but it's gonna be hard pressed not to pick Atlanta, man. Like, and it also depends on what you believe with the Bucks, right? If you believe that Dave Canales was that big of a factor for the Bucks winning the division last year, then the Bucks should be taking a step back offensively. The Bucks might not be as good as they were before. But if you don't believe that, then the Bucks are going to probably be a threat to repeat. So it all depends on perspective on how much you think Dave Canales was different. Now, if the Bucks keeps rolling and Baker Mayfield continues to play at a high level like he did last season, and our offense is still stagnant, then we're gonna be having different discussions about Canales. But I still don't think it's discussions to have regarding letting him go after a year. I have zero interest in replacing a coach right now. I think Canales deserves an opportunity to get some time to build this program the way he wants to and try to build this team the way he wants to. So I'm not interested in a Dave Canales one and done type of situation. Um, I just don't want it. I'm not interested in it. I want to see this organization give a coach some time and try to make it work. This is probably I would probably argue, and I'll say it. I think Canals was probably the best coach that this organization has hired since Tepper's taken over as the owner. So I'm hoping that they give him more time than he gave Matt Rule at least. So I truly believe that. I think out of all the coaches that we've hired so far, I think Dave Canales has been the best coach that Tepper has hired so far. Now, he's hired a lot of coaches, let me be clear. But I think when you sit down and think about who Dave Canales is as a person and as a coach, by far the best hire he's done so far. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a big fan of the Frank Wright hire. Definitely wasn't a fan of Matt Rule hire. It'll be interesting to see. And I think Evero will be gone after this year. I think that he'll be. I think Evero's going to get his head coaching opportunity after this year. That's just my opinion on that. I think Evero's going to work miracles again like he did last year. I think he's going to become the head coach. I think he'll end up becoming a head coach. If not, I think Evero can stay here as long as he wants to, if he wants to stay here. I think he's that good defensively. But okay. Bro, listen. After what I've suffered through, a bar is a bar is a bar. All right? Bar is a bar is a bar. After what I suffered through. But I believe in Canales too, man. I definitely do. Like do I think was he my top pick? No, but that's okay. That's okay. I just know this organization has done worse than Canales. And I mean, I don't want to stomach a terrible. I don't want to stomach a terrible. I don't want to stomach another 2-15 year, and I don't think we're gonna have to. I think Canales is that good of a coach that he's gonna make it with what we have. All right, let me see. Well, sorry. Yeah, I mean, this is the collective. We have suffered through a lot. So that is very true. My apologies, A Cash. So, we're gonna see what happens with regards to the Panthers from that end of the spectrum. I saw that we recently had somebody retire from the organization. Name escapes me right now, but let me see. What was his name? I think it was from the scouting team. Hired by Dave Gettleman, by the way. Yeah, Joel Patton. He was covering the Midwest. He was hired by Dave Gettleman. No. I mean, if he gets 4 wins, that's double the total that we had last season. It wouldn't be a red flag because we got a lot of holes. I wouldn't be happy, obviously, but it wouldn't be a red flag. I think What would be a red flag is if we see the team have a lack of progression. Like I want to see the team be tough, physical, and consistently get better week by week. Right. So that's what I need to see. Like you can argue that the team was getting worse and worse. And that's I got a electric flash water over here. So the team gets worse and worse. Um, that's what we were seeing last year under Frank Wright. So I need to see progression, improvement. And if the wins come, the wins come. I mean, I don't want to sit through 2-15, and I don't think I'm going to have to. I just need progression. I need to see that the team's going in the right direction. Because if the team's going in the right direction, that's going to help lure more free agents to come here. If players feel like there's stability in the coaching staff, that's going to lure more players to come over here. Right. So that's the type of thing we got to do. You know, so that's my opinion on that. Yeah, I mean, if you go from 2 to 4, 2 to 5, I mean, that's a big jump. I mean, like, I don't know what the expectation. Chad, I'll ask the question: what's the expectation after what we saw last year? Like, how many wins would make you guys happy? I know some of you guys might say 11, but how many? Put in the chat. How many wins will make you guys happy? Because I'm very fascinated. Will make you guys feel like we're going the right directions. I mean, happy means you playoffs, right? But I don't. I'm being realistic here. I don't see us making the postseason this upcoming season. But you know, how many wins will kind of make you a little bit like, all right, we're going in the right direction. Meanwhile, I don't know. I mean, it's not a lost cause yet. I mean, Gilmore's the type of guy I think that's going to wait until he absolutely have to be there. Like whoever he gets signed for, it ain't no question he's going to make the team. I mean, he's one of the best corners in the NFL. He's going to make the team. 7 to 8. 6 to 7. 5, 7, 5 to 6 wins, 9. Woof, woof. You can be disappointed, my brother. 9 is a lot. Our schedule ain't that clean, guys. Like, let me remind myself who we playing this year. Let me see here, because my memories, I'm old. Like who we playing this year? All right, so we got the Saints, the Chargers. Oh, we playing AFC West this year. Jesus. Saints, Chargers, Raiders, Bengals, Bears, Falcons, the team, Denver, at Denver too, by the way. Saints, Giants in Germany, the Panthers, the Chiefs, excuse me, the Bucks, the Eagles, Dallas, Cardinals. Woof, 9. Woof. 9 gonna be tough, man. 9 gonna be hard. 9 gonna be hard. 9's tough. Vegas got us at 5.5. I mean, 6 is reasonable. I can roll with 6. 6 and 11. I ain't mad at that. 7. Beat Tampa twice. I don't know about that. 9's tough. Yeah, the schedule ain't a game, guys. We're playing the AFC West and the NFC East. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I can find out who got the toughest schedule. Let me see. Let me pull it up. NFL strength of schedule 2024. We have, let's see, we have the 10th easiest schedule in the NFL. So, yeah. You guys know who had the easiest schedule in the NFL? I don't know what you guys talking about the West being weak. the AFC West being weak, that's kind of wild. I mean, the conference that division has the Chiefs. They have the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Raiders. The Raiders are going to be better this year. Denver's going to be trash. Now, there's no Denver's going to be trash. We got the 10th easiest. You know who has the easiest schedule in the NFL? Y'all want to make some guesses? Well, we got the 10th easiest. You know who has the easiest schedule in the NFL? Nobody wants to guess. I'll give y'all a minute. Nobody. All right, I got one guess. Can we get some more? It's not the Chiefs. The Chiefs does not have the easiest schedule. It's not the Saints. It's the Atlanta Falcons, ladies and gentlemen. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL. The Houston Oilers. We're gonna see. I mean, A&T's had a lot of changes. I don't know if that's a fair comparison. I don't know if that's a fair comparison. A&T had a lot of changes. Like A&T didn't like that school down the road didn't just take some of our staff, but some of our staff also got head coaching jobs. Like Sean Gibbs, he ended up becoming the head coach at Fort Valley State. There's a lot of other things that happened in between. I miss the Houston Oilers, man. We should bring them back. They have some fly jerseys too. The Oilers have some fly jerseys. Shout out to Warren Moon. I mean, same goes for the Bucks too, right? Like NFC. All right, so Falcons were first, Saints was fifth, Bucks were 11th behind us. So yeah, man. Strength of schedule, yay. Yeah, Warren Moon was my guy, man. I love Warren Moon. Couldn't do nothing in the playoffs though, but love seeing the regular season. That was my squad in Tecmo Bowl. I'm telling you, man. Typically, the teams with the easiest schedule that gains talent, like a quarterback talent, like Kirk Cousins, they tend to win divisions. Like, I mean, this is the Falcons division to lose, really. Nah, the Falcons got a pretty easy schedule, man. And you got to remember, like, everybody in the NFC South's got to play the AFC West and the NFC East. We all got to play those guys. Falcons got a pretty easy schedule. My man said, tell them who have the second easiest. The Chargers. The Falcons, the Chargers, the Bears, the Jets, the Saints, the Bengals, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Eagles are ahead of Carolina. The Chiefs are 12th. So they got a pretty easy schedule. Let's see. I mean, I hate the Falcons just like y'all do, man, but they got an easy schedule, man. Like, this should be their year. This is their year to win in the South, and they're going to do it. They might have to consider firing the coach if they don't. No. Well, I never was a big. The reason why I wasn't a big Jim Harbaugh guy is because I knew it wasn't going to last long with the owner that we currently have. Right? Because Harbaugh wants power. And I don't know if our owner was willing to give that up. I mean, how many primetime games do the Falcons have? That's the question you got to ask yourself. How many primetime games do the Falcons have? I see, man. Like, do I think Jim Harbaugh can coach? Yes. Yes. But the problem is he wanted the keys. And I don't think that was a reality with Tepper. You know? And it's ultimately up to the owner whether or not if they're going to be willing to give up the keys. And Tepper ain't had the team 10 years yet, man. He ain't ready to get him keys up quite yet. I think eventually he's going to give up the keys, though. I think if we keep losing, he ain't gonna have much of a choice. But he's gotta, and I think technically he kind of gave up the keys when he hired Matt Rule, and he saw what that looked like. So I think that's a factor too. Like I don't think folks take the element of that situation into account when you start talking about Jim Harbaugh. Like when I make my opinions on certain things when it comes to the Panthers, I do it based on what I see. I saw him give the keys to a college coach. And I know folks are going to say, well, it's not the same, Dave. That ain't it. But my thing is, I saw him give the keys to another coach, and I saw it not work out, and it was traumatizing for him and the fan base. So I can understand from his perspective that maybe I don't want to give the keys up, and Harbaugh is somebody that wants the keys. So I didn't think it was I don't think that was ever going to be a reality. If we wanted to hire Harbaugh, that was the hire we needed to have when we hired Matt Rule. Yeah. This is it right here. My man sold the Beamer for 1/10 of the cost, 1/10 of the value. I just think it's going to be a while. I don't think we're going to get to the point where somebody's not going to be able to get the keys. I just think we're on our third full-time head coach since the owner's been here, and I just don't think he's going to that he's hired. Let me be clear. I just don't think he's gonna just give them keys up so soon. I appreciate it, Preston. I'm getting ready to close it out in a minute, though. I mean, I'm gonna give you guys a last call for questions, and I'm gonna close this thing out. This is fun. This is some pretty good discussion points, though. I will say. Nah, I mean, look, man, giving the keys is giving the keys, bruh. And also, he saw how that ended. People forget why Harbaugh left in the first place. Because it became a situation where they weren't willing to give up the keys anymore. So if the Yorks decided, nah, this is our clique, even though he was winning, took them boys to a Super Bowl. People forget how bad San Fran was before that. Took them boys to a Super Bowl. And you were like, oh, no, we're done here. And he walked away. So, that's a balance. That's a delicate balance. I know folks didn't want to hear it then, but, I think those are the type of things you got to consider. But I'm fascinated to see how Harbaugh does in LA with the Chargers. We're going to find out if that franchise is truly cursed or not. Because that team is not that far away, guys. Like, that's why when folks were saying the West is weak, I'm looking at them like, what are you talking about? They're going to be fine. Shad, I don't have the calendar in front of me, but Shad gave his dates of when he's going to go to training camp while I was in Charlotte. He's not going to Fan Fest in Clemson. I think he said it was in Clemson, if I remember correctly. So he's not going to Fan Fest. But training camps are going to be in Charlotte this year. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm honestly going to miss it being in Spartanburg myself. I'm curious to see how the fan reaction is going to be with it being in Charlotte. So it's it's going to be fascinating. But I'm sitting it out. I know Shy got VIP, so he's going to get, and I think some of the folks within PNP is going to get to go. So it's going to be fun. But Shaw's going a lot of days, so he'll keep tabs on how we're doing. Look, man, I'm telling you, bro, and I think folks are sleeping on the Raiders too with Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce shown that he can coach, so it's going to be interesting with regards to how that's going to go. But nah, Shot ain't. Shot left the Vegas. No, Shot ain't leaving for Vegas until next week. I'm leaving Thursday. But he ain't leaving, I don't think, till Wednesday or Thursday of next week or Friday. But I'm leaving this Thursday. Shad had to deal with a bunch of other stuff. Look, man, he's He's a father first, so he got to do what he got to do. I know it's dance season too. He got things to do, man. So he hit me up today. It was like, yo, man. It was like, can you go solo this week? I was like, nah, it's perfect. You can go solo. I was like, I'll go solo this week. You go solo next week. So that way, I don't forget because I'll be in Vegas. It's 3 hour difference. 5 o'clock. I'm going to be doing something else. So, but all right, guys, this has been fun. I'm going to shut this thing down. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Become a Patreon. It really helps out the channel. www.patreon.com/Panther Nation PC. But yeah, man. Yo, shout out to Rob Brown, man. That's my guy. I don't hop on there that often, but when I do, it's always a blast. I enjoy those guys. I love the fact that Rob was a fan of the show and was like, yo, we want you guys. But shout out to them. Listen, man, Shy be out here working, man. Shy be out here working, man. Look, man, we fathers in these streets. Don't be Drake, okay? If there's anything that comes out of this episode, just remember, don't be Drake. But on that note, all jokes aside, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. Shout out to the Queen City Podcast Network. Make sure you go on Apple Podcasts and Google Play and everybody everywhere else we can get your podcast. Give us 5 stars, man. These episodes show up there every week. Get them listeners up. Do what you got to do from that regard. And with that, the handle for Panther Nation PC is down here on Twitter. This is my Twitter handle where you can find me anytime you want right under my name here. And on that note, I will see you guys in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. All right. Shot will be here next week for the solo show. And we'll be back together 2 weeks after that. All right. So on that note, peace.